Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Pravesh and you're watching Prav's Code AI. So today I'll show you how to set up a modern front-end project using Vite, React with JSX and Tailwind CSS. This is the latest method for 2025, including the new Tailwind setup that works perfectly with Vite. So without further ado, let's get started. So why Vite? What is Vite? First, let's try to decode that. Vite is a modern front-end build tool. So basically, all the latest and greatest websites these days are using lightest front-end toolkit like Vite. It is used to develop apps with React, Vue, etc. Provides fast development server created to improve developer experience. It's lightning fast front-end tool. Why developers love it? Because it has instant dev server and fast hot reload. It is simple to set up with minimal configuration. It is highly optimized for production builds and it works great with React, Tailwind and TypeScript. So it is basically faster to set up and faster to code. So in today's tutorial, what we will learn? We will learn React app using JSX, Tailwind CSS for styling, Vite as a build tool, and live reload while coding. What are the prerequisites? Your system has to have Node.js pre-installed, or you can install it from nodejs.org. You can use any code editor. I am using VS Code for now. You can use terminal or command prompt, whatever is you are more comfortable with, and then some basic JavaScript knowledge. So let's get started. So this is how I start my project. So first we will go to your terminal, and here in terminal, if you go to your present working directory, you will find the directory. I've already created a folder called Vite 2025, which you can create by typing mkdir and then you can type the folder name over here. I've already created that. Now you have to first install Vite. So for that, you have to use the command npm create Vite at latest in the current folder. So once you click that, the Vite will get installed on the current folder. Now here you have to select the framework as React, and then here you can use JavaScript plus SWC. I can use plain JavaScript also, but I am just using this one. So you click on JavaScript and use roll down Vite. It's experimental, so I prefer no for now. And install with npm and start now. So let's say yes, and let it install the dependencies. And the Vite has installed. So it says that on this particular localhost, you can basically check. So what we can do is we can easily check on the browser. On the browser, we can say localhost 5173 and we hit enter. And this is the Vite project, which is successfully installed, successfully set up. But we have to install Tailwind CSS to basically use this setup properly. So now let's again Control C and terminate this process. And then we have to install this particular version npm I -d Tailwind CSS 4.1.18. Then @tailwind CSS / PostCSS at 4.1.18, and then autoprefixer. So these three dependencies we will install on the dev dependency area, which is -d. So let's install this, and it has installed properly. So let's try to open it via VS Code now. So I have this open already. So here you can see we have installed in package.json Tailwind CSS, Tailwind PostCSS, and autoprefixer. So we have successfully installed these dependencies in dev dependencies area. Now let's have some more initial setup that we need to do before we can start using Vite and Tailwind. So what we have to do is we have to we have to create a file as in the root directory here, in the root directory as tailwindcss.config.js, and in this file we have to write export default, and then we have got content index.html comma src, which is this folder. Inside that folder any JS or JSX files will be searched to translate to Tailwind CSS. So this is one file which we need to create, and then we have to create another file which is again in root folder, which is postcss.config.js, and here we have to again write these 6 lines: export default plugins Tailwind CSS at PostCSS, and then blank object, and similar for autoprefixer, and just save it. So we have created these two files for now and nothing else. Then we have to do one more stuff. We have to go to src folder and index.css. You have to delete everything over here and just write this: import app tailwind css, and save it. Now to test it, we go to app.css. We will remove all the css because we don't need css as of now. Here we will remove the logo and everything. Here we will remove all this. We will create a plain div and write a test text. So let's run the project. To run the project, you go to the folder and then type npm run dev. And once you run this, it again shows you the link on which it is running, which you can basically come here and you can just. So this is the page which is running right now. Let's do some changes. Let's try to change the color of this text and see if it is properly initialized and installed, the Tailwind CSS. So we'll come here. We will, in the class name, we will say text red, say 500, text to Excel, and let's see if it has actually changed the nature of the text, and it did. So you can see it. So with the Tailwind CSS, it becomes very easy to style your components to basically work on a scale project, because you don't have to separately set up and maintain the CSS files at all. All the CSS will be written directly in class name, and you do not have, right now, as you can see, I do not need to import anything over here. I can remove this import CSS because there is no CSS at all. In the index CSS, it is just this text, and in the main.js, it is just imported this index of CSS and nothing else. So by this, we can say we have created this project successfully, which is using Tailwind CSS as a styling agent now. So let's try to do some test examples to see how it works and how easily we can use this. How easily we can use Tailwind CSS for styling. So now let's do some examples. So we will delete this and we will try to create one button. So the button will be like this. So we have got the button, then class name, and then it is px6 means padding on x-axis 6 pixels, padding y-axis 3, background indigo color 600, text white, rounded full means the corners should be rounded. There will be some shadow, and then when we hover on, the color will change. It will slightly from 600 to 700. The color will change, which will become more darker, and it's a transition. So we will just save this and let's see how it comes over here and see. So now we have created this button. So as you can see, the button is on the upper left corner. We can basically give the margin. We can say margin left 100, 200, margin top 200, and save it. And see, it has gone very much down. I think we have created too much margin. So let's try to give 100 and then 100. So this is the margin from left and margin from top. So this is how the subscribe button now looks. When you hover on the subscribe button, the color changes. What we can do is we can change the cursor to cursor pointer, and now the cursor is changed from normal cursor to pointer, hand pointer. So this is how you create a simple button. So once again, there is this button. Then we have the class name, cursor pointer to change it from normal cursor to pointer. Then we have given margin left 100, margin from top 100, padding from on x-axis 6, padding on y-axis 3, bg background indigo 600, text white, rounded full. So it's cursor pointer, margin left 100, margin top 100, px padding on x-axis 6, padding from y3, bg 600, background indigo 600, text white, rounded full. If you make it rounded medium, you will see there will be this, the button shape will change. So this is how you create button using Tailwind CSS. Now let's try to create a card. So we'll use the card component now. We will see how the card component will look. So this card component, where we have got the div, the top div, which has max width specified, small bg white rounded to XL, shadow XL, and then padding 6 on all the sides. And then we have got the H2 text, which says text 2XL, font bold, margin bottom 2. Then we have got another text which has text gray 600, margin bottom 4, and then we have the button. So let's save this and let's see how it changes. So see, this is the card right now. Let me give some margin from top and bottom. So we can say M100, which will give the margin from all sides. And the cards looks like this. So it's a very decent, beautiful card, which you can use as a component in any of your project. So this is the card, and I hope it's very easy to read and easy to change. There is no CSS. There is no CSS files we are using. We are just using inline CSS, and it's very easy to customize your components. So let's now use for responsive boxes. So let's delete this, and in this case we will use responsive boxes. So what is responsive boxes? It will create a grid and it will basically, so you have got this boxes over here, and based on the size it will change. So if suppose it goes to mobile view, all the boxes will be aligned in columns, while when you put it into the laptop or desktop mode, the boxes will get aligned in 2 rows and 3 columns. If you want to go through it, it's very easy. It says class name grid column 1. SM means when goes to small, then column 2, or when it is medium, then column 3 and gap 4. And base when very small, then it has grid column 1. So if very small, like mobile size, it is 1. If it is fairly small, then it will be 2 columns per row, and then if it is medium or large, it will go to column 3. So if this is 3 columns, if we try to make it small, you can see this is the small size where we have got 3 rows and 2 columns, and if we go further down, it all becomes 1 column. So it becomes super easy for us to create this kind of responsive boxes. Now let's try to see if we can create a simple navigation bar, which we will have to see. So we'll delete this, we'll use this. So let's see this example of navigation bar. So this is a simple navigation for any website. As you can see, you have got your logo, you have got your menus, and it's super easy. You have got the nav tag, and in the nav tag you have the class name flex item center justify between px6 py4 bg slate 900 text white. Then we have got the class name of the logo, which you can see is right now it is text. Then we have got the menus home, about, and contact. So this is how you create the menu or the navigation bar for any website using Tailwind CSS. Now let's see one more example, which we will see as a hover animation possibly. Let's see how it goes. So we save it, and if we see it, it basically expands. if we move into the image, into the element, it basically zooms in. And if you see it has the class name P10 means padding 10, then BG Indigo 500 means background, Indigo 500 is the color, and 500 is the intensity. Then we have text white, the text which is white on top of this. Then we have got rounded to XL, which is the corners. Then text to XL, text is also increased in size, and then font bold, and then it says transform hover scale 105 means 105% when you hover on it, and then transition duration is 300 milliseconds. And then this is the element that you can use in any of your projects. So let's try one more example. This is also very much used. So basically this is where you can switch your template from dark mode to light mode. So we save it over here. So you can see it is easily ready. Tailwind, it makes it super easy. So you have got the BG, you have the dark mode, text slate, text white, P round. So it is totally up to you how you're going to use this element. Frankly, I do not see any utility for this, but yeah, you can use this template or element as. That's it for now. So hope you enjoyed watching my tutorial. And if you have any questions or you want me to uh, give you more details about using Tailwind CSS, do write in comment and I will definitely create a video on that.